Recently, we discovered that Romania has a lot of ice caves.
Yeah, a lot of them.
And also that a river cut through mountains.
True.
That was a crazy fact. And today we are completing part 2.
Yes, let's get started.
Fact 25. Romania has a cave over 50 kilometers long. Vantaly Cave, located in the Apuseni Mountains, stretches for approximately 50 kilometers beneath the surface. It is the longest cave in Romania and one of the most extensive underground systems in the region. Its passages, chambers, and subterranean rivers reveal a hidden landscape carved entirely by geological processes. Fact 24. The Danube pushes a huge amount of water into the Black Sea. The Danube discharges approximately 6,500 cubic meters per second through 3 main channels.
I was gonna say that it would be crazy if there's people that live there. Like that nobody knows, but they live there and they find a way out and in and it's their house because
Yeah.
it's too expensive life. I don't know. I was thinking about that.
The Chilia, Sulina, and Sfântu Gheorghe. The Sulina Channel has been artificially deepened to allow ocean-going vessels to reach Sulina Port approximately 70 kilometers inland. Fact 23. Transylvania gets twice the rainfall of Wallachia. Transylvania inside the Carpathian Arc receives approximately 700 to 900 millimeters annually. Wallachia outside receives approximately 450 to 600 millimeters. The mountain arc separates not just cultures and histories, but entire climate systems. Fact 22.
It's never gonna be more than here. It just rained an hour today. We lost electricity. Every time that it rained, we lost electricity here in the countryside. Is it the same in the Romanian countryside? When it rained too hard for 30 minutes, electricity gone.
Yeah.
Romania has a diversity of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Romania is home to 11 UNESCO World Heritage Sites, reflecting its diverse cultural and natural heritage. These include the Danube Delta, the painted monasteries of Bukovina, the Dacian fortresses, and the historic center of Sighișoara. Each site represents a different layer of the country's
Wow.
history and geography. Fact
Whoa,
21.
that was so pretty.
Romania has volcanoes that stopped erupting 10,000 years ago. Romania's eastern Carpathians contain extinct volcanic
Wow.
peaks, the Harghita and Gurghiu ranges, where volcanic activity ceased only approximately 10,000 years ago. In geological terms, they are recently extinct. Fact 20.
Damn, I
The
cannot
Danube
tell.
Delta has the world's largest reed beds. The reed beds of the Danube Delta cover approximately 1,563 square kilometers, the largest continuous reed bed on Earth. They have been sustainably harvested for centuries and remain a living geography unchanged in fundamental character since the delta began forming.
Wow.
Fact 19.
I've seen in a video in India, there's people that have houses on these kind of bed.
Oh.
Like wood house in some spot that can sustain some small house. It's insane. I don't know if it's possible in Romania, but I've seen this in India. It's crazy.
Unchanged in fundamental character since the delta began forming. Fact 19. Romania has more thermal spas than any country in southeastern Europe. Romania has approximately 160 thermal and mineral spa resorts,
Damn.
more than any neighboring country. The Felix Spa near
I love
Oradea
spa.
produces thermal water at approximately 48 degrees Celsius from natural springs,
Damn.
one of the most productive natural thermal systems in Eastern Europe.
Is it
Fact
in Hungary
18.
that we have seen? In Hungary, they have a huge one, right? In the middle of the city.
So a lot of people go there.
Yeah. Is it Hungary? I'm trying to
Romania's
think where it
longest
was.
domestic river is almost invisible on world maps. The
Oh.
Siret flows approximately 559 kilometers entirely within Romania, its longest purely domestic river. Yet it rarely appears in international geography discussions. It forms the agricultural backbone of Moldavia, the flat, fertile corridor between the eastern Carpathians and the Prut River. Fact 17.
I mean, he did not even tell us why. Why it doesn't appear on the map? Is it because I cannot think of a good reason. I cannot think of a
Romania
good
has
reason.
one of the largest agricultural areas in the EU. Around 60% of Romania's land is used for agriculture, making it one of the largest farming countries in the European Union.
60%.
It is among the EU's top producers of maize and sunflower seeds, with vast fertile plains
Damn.
supporting large-scale crop production. Agriculture remains a defining part of the country's landscape and economy.
But that means that groceries and fruit and vegetables and a lot of things are going to be cheaper because they
Yeah.
can make it in Romania, right? But then I see videos where a lot of people are leaving Romania and leaving this country to go find jobs somewhere else.
Maybe for a higher salary?
Yeah, but I would think that people are going to be self-sustained. They can grow their own crops and they don't need the government assistance as much, you know? I would think. Because you grow, 60% is land to grow stuff, you know? So I would think that you have enough, but
Fact 16.
it's more complicated than
Romania
that.
was squeezed between three empires for centuries.
Damn.
Romania's position between
Yes.
the Ottoman Empire to the south, the Habsburg Empire to the west,
And
the
Rome.
Russian Empire to the east
Oh.
made it one of Europe's most contested buffer zones. The plains of Wallachia and Moldavia were repeatedly crossed, occupied, and administered by competing
This is
powers
so
across
pretty.
centuries.
Yeah.
Fact 15. Most of Romania's historic towns were built in one specific geographic zone.
Oh, wow.
The Subcarpathians, hills at 300 to 800 meters immediately outside the Carpathian Arc, are Romania's most densely populated upland zone. Sheltered enough to farm,
good.
elevated enough to avoid flooding, this geographic transition zone is where most of Romania's historic settlements were established. Fact 14. A lake was created by a single landslide in 1838. Lacul Roșu, Red Lake, formed when a landslide in 1838 dammed the Bicaz River in the eastern Carpathians. Submerged tree stumps are still visible in the water today. A landscape that looks ancient was created within submerged
Is
tree
that
stumps.
the tree stone? What is this? I thought it was piece of wood.
What is that?
This is the stone? Because the landslide created the lake, right?
And it's funny.
The shape is funny. It's like a
Yeah.
triangular shape on the top.
Are still
Yeah.
visible in the water today. A landscape that looks ancient was created within living memory of people born that decade. Fact 13. Romania has more total border length than almost any country in southeastern Europe. Romania shares borders with 5 countries: Ukraine, Moldova, Bulgaria, Serbia, and Hungary, across approximately
Damn.
3,150 kilometers. Combined with its 245-kilometer Black Sea coastline, it has more total border length than almost any comparable country in the region. Fact 12. The Carpathian Mountains shaped one of Europe's most feared rulers. Vlad III of Wallachia, later known as Vlad the Impaler, ruled a
Dracula.
region positioned between the Ottoman Empire and Central Europe. The dense forests, mountain passes, and fortified valleys of the Carpathians helped Wallachia resist repeated invasions and shaped the brutal defensive tactics Vlad became known for. Fact 11.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe that's why there's people that live there now. I mean, historically, it was a safer spot to go, so maybe that's why.
The Danube Delta hosts one of Europe's largest pelican populations.
Pelican.
The
bird.
Danube Delta supports one of the largest populations of pelicans in Europe, alongside
Wow.
hundreds of other bird species. It serves as a major stopover and breeding ground along the Eastern European migratory route. Millions of birds pass through this region each year, making it one of the continent's most important wildlife hubs.
Oh, are they coming
Fact
from India
10.
or something?
Romania
another country?
has a mountain
From
range
down
with
south?
150 peaks above 2,000 meters nobody talks about. The Făgăraș
Damn.
Mountains contain approximately 150 peaks exceeding 2,000 meters, more high peaks than most people associate with any Eastern European country. Locally called the Transylvanian Alps, they receive a fraction of the visitors the Alps attract, for terrain that rivals them in technical difficulty and raw landscape drama. Fact 9. The Danube Delta maps keep getting it wrong. The Danube Delta contains approximately 3,500 kilometers of navigable channels and approximately 1,150 lakes, with 30 times more water than dry land. The channels shift continuously as sediment moves. Maps of the delta become inaccurate faster than they can be updated. Local
Ah.
boat pilots navigate from memory because no printed map stays accurate long enough to trust. Fact 8.
It's too big
Romania
to do it, or what?
has one of Europe's most scenic rail journeys.
Wow, look at
The
this.
Vazer Valley Railway, also known as
they
the
go in the
Mocanitsa,
jungle?
runs through remote
Yeah.
forested valleys in northern
Look.
Romania. This narrow-gauge steam train travels over 60 kilometers through the Carpathians,
Whoa.
following the Vazer River deep into areas with no road access. It's one of the last fully operational forestry railways in Europe,
Old
offering a
school
journey through
railway.
landscapes that have remained largely unchanged for centuries. Fact 7. The Danube border with Bulgaria has moved, and nobody fixed the maps. The Danube has shifted its course since the Romania-Bulgaria border was drawn in the 19th century.
Wow.
In several locations, the legal border and the actual river no longer align. Land that is legally Romanian sits on the Bulgarian bank, and vice versa. The river drew the border, and then kept moving. Fact
Damn.
6. Romania has a highway that climbs through the clouds. The Transfăgărașan
Whoa,
Highway
what?
cuts directly across the Făgăraș Mountains, reaching elevations of over 2,000 meters.
This one.
Built through one
Damn.
of Romania's most rugged mountain ranges, it twists through steep valleys, glacial lakes, and sheer rock faces with hundreds of sharp turns. For much of the year, snow closes large sections of the road because the mountain environment makes it impassable. Fact 5.
Damn.
Romania has one of the largest diasporas in Europe. More than 5 million Romanians live and work abroad, making it one of the largest diasporas in the European Union. Communities are spread across countries like Italy, Spain, Germany, and the UK. Despite this, strong cultural ties remain, with traditions, language, and family connections continuing across borders.
But actually, given the fact that there's a lot of land and a lot of water, maybe there's not a lot of job that people want to do.
Yeah, like here too. Like this area back in the days, always like farmer thing like that.
Yeah, maybe there's not enough job because the type of job that people get and it doesn't pay well because if everyone grow rice, how much can you sell the rice for?
Yeah.
If there's too much that you can do and not enough demand, I mean, I don't know.
Fact 4. Romania has one of the largest populations of storks in Europe.
Oh, really?
Romania is home to tens of thousands of white storks, with over 5,000 nesting pairs recorded across the country. They are especially common in rural areas, where they build large nests on rooftops, chimneys, and utility poles. Every year, these birds migrate thousands of kilometers between Africa and Europe, returning to the same nests each spring, making them a visible and iconic part of Romania's landscape. Fact
Damn.
3.
Whoa.
Romania is home to one of the world's best preserved medieval cities. The historic center of Sighișoara is one of the few inhabited medieval citadels in Europe, and UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Wow.
Founded in the 12th century, it still has its original cobbled streets, fortified walls, and 9 surviving defensive towers.
Wow.
Travelers can walk through a city that has been continuously lived in for over 800 years, making it one of the most authentic medieval experiences in Europe.
Damn.
Fact 2.
Oh.
Romania is one of Europe's biggest wine producers. Romania ranks among the top 10 wine-producing countries in Europe, with over 180,000 hectares of vineyards. Wine has been produced here for more than 2,000 years, dating back to the Dacians and Romans. Today, regions like Transylvania, Moldavia, and Muntenia produce a wide range of wines, making Romania one of the continent's most underrated wine destinations. Fact 1. Romania is the geographic crossroads of 3 Europes. Romania sits at the exact meeting point of Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and the Balkans, and its geography reflects all 3 simultaneously. Inside the Carpathians, Transylvania looks and feels Central European, forested, elevated, medieval.
Wow.
Outside the mountains, Wallachia and Moldavia look Eastern European, flat,
Yeah.
agricultural, steppe-influenced. The Danube Delta looks like neither, a subtropical wetland more reminiscent of the Nile Delta than anything in Europe. Romania is 3 geographies forced by history and tectonic
Damn.
accident into a single national boundary.
Well, they have everything. But it goes to show that you can have everything, but if you're not well governed, it doesn't matter how much oil you have. They don't have oil, but how much stuff you have. You're gonna feel the need to go elsewhere. It's kind of sad a little bit because it looks so beautiful everywhere, so different.
Yeah, I mean it also look clean. A lot of things.
Yeah.
Like want to visit.